The only thing I didn't like about the transcendental meditation thing was this. It's kind of a cult, like
the guy with a stick.
Yeah,
it was a cult.
That's why I haven't really gotten myself into that.
And they were saying,
I
like,
always seen that with celebrities and transcendental.
you can't show anyone else what we were about to show you, and all that kind of thing. And it's like $2,000 there, lads, as well.
Here you go. Look, this is good luck. This is a sign of good luck. That's rude. That was caught on camera.
Was that a gift?
Your evil ways were caught on camera.
Was that a gift?
It's no gift. It's
How
rubbish.
did she get a gift? I get nothing.
It's rubbish.
Well, I'd give you that, but you were trying to give me a gift. Hugh was, just before we started, Hugh was trying to put soup in my mouth.
Soup?
What?
Wasn't it?
Involuntarily. You were coming up putting the drink in my mouth.
That never happened.
Yeah, you did. Anyway, welcome back to Everything from Nothing, Ireland's most rambunctious situation. Is that fair to describe it? Would you say that's accurate, or?
Depends what day you
It's
catch
definitely
it
a
on.
situation. I feel like we're in a situation now.
We are.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a bit rambunctious. I don't know what that means though. See, this is my
I
problem.
can't remember. We always look these things up and then we can't remember for the next time.
Yeah, well, we won't either. So we won't start doing it today. Thanks everyone for watching. If you want to donate to the podcast, we'd really appreciate it. The donation link is below, and if not, and if you look below and there's a red button and it's red, that means you haven't pressed it, because that says subscribe, and if you had, it'd say unsubscribe. So
And you can put money in the letterbox if you're passing.
Yeah, what's in the address?
33 Matthew
Avenue is
Just
the
stick
address.
money in. We're hungry.
Do you think that's why? So it's red before you click it or after you click it?
Before you click it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're seeing red, you obviously don't love us.
Yeah.
Or I could say
But,
subscribe, and then when you've clicked it, it says subscribed. So that's another way of knowing.
Yeah. The D on the end.
So there's
I like that.
Yeah.
Lots of ways of knowing.
Would you be able to come in just a bit closer, just because these kind of mics you have to get right up to. We're joined by a guest today. As always, every Monday we're joined by a guest. It's not new there. I said it like it was a new thing, didn't I? Like, well, today we're especially joined by a guest. And your name is Violet. Her name is Violet. Okay, what's that?
Violette. That's what I said. 'Cause
Well,
it's the
I don't know. I
double
can't.
V.
We were
Yeah,
saying
a lot
that.
of
People say Violet.
No.
Violette.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, my bad. So,
It's alright.
what's the crack with that?
What, my name?
Yeah, like is Violet spelled different? Am I actually just
Well,
completely wrong?
Violet's just one T.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
thinking that. I just
Yeah.
didn't think to pronounce it. Okay. I actually, and is that, that's not common. Violet.
Just
It is
French.
really common in France. but it's not
Okay.
here at all.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
Even
that's
Violet isn't. I know it's not a different name. We've just learned, but that's
Violet's common in America.
yeah.
I've noticed.
Have
Okay.
you French connections? Have you?
Yeah, my parents are both French.
Ah.
That makes sense.
Anyway, I picked up on that. These investigative skills.
Oh, Sherlock.
You're a detective.
Yeah.
Sherlock. We've got Sherlock Holmes here with us. You
Were you
won't get away
born
with.
over there or anything?
I was born in Australia.
Okay,
Born
so
and
they
raised.
were already living there.
Yeah,
And how did your folks end up going to Australia?
just for work.
Yeah.
Just the
No
usual,
way.
yeah.
How long were they there before you were born?
Couple years.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they met, and then
Yeah.
had my brother, and then me.
Okay, so just 2 years, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Do you speak French?
Yeah.
Do you?
Fluent.
Yeah.
Can you
that's
be the
really
first
handy.
person to say something? You can say that this. Can you say this is the worst
Worst.
podcast you've ever seen in French? Can you say that?
Didn't say I hate this podcast.
Yeah, in French. Can you say that?
Je déteste ce podcast.
Now.
No.
Now.
That was quite clear, wasn't it?
yeah. There was a bit of truth and certainty in it.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So why? And you just moved from Australia to here.
Yeah.
How long ago? Just a few months.
Literally a week before Christmas.
That's mad.
And I'm going to be asking the question that everyone's wondering: why?
Yeah.
Well, I came here with Charlie because his visa was up, but I wanted to come to like Europe area. So
This ain't Europe.
This is your.
I know it's a little bit outside, but
Yeah,
it's still close to everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
And also my not my parents, but my family is in France, so I'm
Yeah,
closer
yeah.
to them too. And I haven't
Okay.
seen them in a couple years, or 3 years almost. because of COVID and everything.
Yeah.
So
What
it's
part
nice.
of France?
Oh, fucking everywhere.
Is it all
Literally
over?
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom was born in the north of Paris, and my dad was born in the northeast part of France. So,
Beautiful.
yeah.
That's mad. What I'd love to actually genuinely know. I know. So Australia is one of those countries I'm really interested. Like, what part of Australia were you from?
Sydney, so New South
Sydney,
Wales.
okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever spend much time in the sort of like? Would you have ever in the like? I don't know. Would you call it countryside over there? I don't know. Like
No.
rural.
The bush.
I don't know.
Yeah,
The
rural.
bush. Yeah. Did you
The
ever
bush.
spend in the bush?
No, only for like just
Yeah.
bushwalks and stuff. But I never really went there to
'Cause
live. I was
It's
only
funny,
ever in
like,
Sydney.
We were just chatting before this, and like Charlie, your boyfriend, made the joke of like, God, you know, it's your city and you don't even know kind
Yeah.
of like the regions of stuff. Because like when I was moving around Australia, so many Australians were like, God, you guys see more of our country than we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because people
That's
just can't be
nice.
ours, because it's just like, it's so far away.
Yeah,
like,
for the
why would
foreigners
you?
that come over, like they're obviously more touristy, so like they go
Yeah.
all over the place. 'Cause
Yeah,
they're not
yeah.
going to stay there for very long. Like they don't
Yeah.
stay there a lifetime unless they do move over there. But then if they do, they like buy a house or rent a place.
Yeah.
And they don't have time to
Yeah.
go see the place.
So we used to work for a little bit in an area, like, you know, a few months, and then get enough money to move on and go
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
And that was how we kind of did it.
That's what my mom did. She used to go and then do like
Yeah.
fruit picking and stuff and go around
Yeah.
the place, get enough money to then go to the next place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in Dublin, when you're saying that, like, just like a lot of people in Dublin who've lived in Dublin their whole lives who wouldn't have even have been out of Dublin. Like, I mean, they might have been to Kildare, God bless, like a bit of a journey.
To the designer
But-
village.
Yeah, to the designer village. Yeah, Kildare village.
That's for them that travel, like.
Yeah, the folks of luxury.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always think that's mad. Like, whereas kind of there's probably a larger percentage per capita per ratio that have of people outside of Dublin who've gone to Dublin, because you'd have to, otherwise, you know, you'd never have lived. Compared to like do you know what I'm saying? That there's probably a less dense population, or a less dense population that haven't left Dublin. I don't know, am I making sense? Should we cancel the podcast?
Yeah. The thing is,
Shut it
like,
down.
all the main cities are on the coast,
Yeah.
like, because it does get so hot or cold
Yeah.
in the middle, like in the other places. So you really kind of see why people settled where they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is nuts. Like the middle part and the west is like, it's just hours and hours of nothing. When you're
Yeah,
driving.
exactly.
It's really weird.
It's just dead land, really.
I love
Yeah.
I love watching movies though. And I see there's lots of cool movies that I don't know that are like of those areas in Australia, and it's just like mad how it is like they're just on this planet of nothingness, and there's just like these little shacks. So I find that so
It was
interesting.
where Mad Max was filmed, isn't it? Like
Was it?
over in the Western
it?
Desert, one of
Yeah.
those Western deserts.
That's mad. It is like
And
another
it's like,
planet. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never been to like Darwin or Perth or even like Alice Springs.
Alice Springs is mental.
Yeah, I'd love to go there one day.
It's mad because you're just like, how is this place even here? Because you
Yeah.
climb little hills and stuff. Like, well, the one hill in Alice Springs, Anzac Hill. And then you go out to like Azrock and Uluru and all around there. And it's just like, it's just flat and there's nothing. It's like, how do people even get here?
Yeah.
Mad
It's really odd.
Max is unbelievable, isn't it?
Can't remember most of it.
I've actually never seen it.
Oh, yeah. And I actually saw with an Australian friend when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
his mum was in Ireland, his dad was in Australia, and he used to come over and back every summer. And he had a video machine.
No way.
We
Video
got,
machine.
Yeah, we got to see Police
Video
Academy
machine.
and Mad Max.
Video machine.
Yeah. And I've discovered since I've a common ancestor with Mel Gibson.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
A good thing.
I don't know. Marie Norell
Some
is
movie.
her name. She's an opera singer.
No way.
That my dad's all into this family history stuff. So he got Marie Norell. She sang for Teddy Roosevelt in the White House and all this kind of thing. So he thought this was the greatest thing ever, and he got us CDs of her, and it's painful. It's like it's just like really bad wax recording kind of.
No way.
This woman, like, it's like a cat being strangled.
Oh jeez.
Nice.
So she. There you go.
How are you finding Ireland, Violette, since you came here?
I'm really actually loving it. Like, it's really cute. And
in like a patronising
way,
way.
yeah.
Like driving around, the place looks like a blanket because there are so many like different like areas, just like
Yeah,
blanket. That's
it's like
nice.
It looks like a
patchwork
blanket.
quilt
That's
thing,
cool.
isn't it? Yeah.
I sound crazy when I say it,
No,
but
I
it's
kind of
true.
get
When you
yeah.
fly over
Yeah.
the UK and Ireland, you see all the little field
All the little
perimeters
squares,
and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, when you fly over like Australia
right,
and South
yeah.
Africa and stuff, it's just like this one big.
This
like,
one thing, yeah. No, but I really like it. Like the people are all friendly. Like
Yeah.
that's definitely something that's different. Like if you're just walking around, someone would just like in their car, they'll just like wave a little high.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know you,
especially
but
because you're
hello.
out because now you're out in Bursley, which is like you know what I didn't even know Bursley is like. Because Thurles is probably tiny to you as it is compared to Sydney. Obviously, Thurles is probably a little tiny village, and then Bursley, like, is even a whole other dimension of you know.
Like Thurles is the size of my suburb like smaller than the size of my suburb.
And what's I'm stupid. What's like a suburb? Like I know what it is.
So you have the city and then you've got suburbs, which is basically like the sub category of it.
Okay, but it's a community. It's not like would it be the majority of housing or is there shopping centres and stuff in it?
It's all of it. Like
it's
the
everything.
suburb would have
Yeah.
like shopping centres and residential areas and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's really
You
hard
know about
work
cities and
sometimes.
shit.
Yeah.
You've heard of cities?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's pretty much a city for you.
Okay. Yeah.
This is what happens when you don't finish the school. Isn't it? Again,
Yeah.
we're having
Why
to
we
point
have
that out to you, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What I was gonna say about so like Bursley, especially when you were saying like about people waving and stuff like. You'd even get it more out there, like in the more rural an area is, like you couldn't. I'd imagine, like beeping and saying hello, like even
Sydney Opera House, what's that like?
Huh? Sydney Opera House. I've never actually been inside.
Haven't
what?
you?
No, I've only seen it from the outside.
Actually, the architect.
It's a tourist attraction. Like.
Yeah.
The
it
architect
is.
has never been inside either. The guy
The
who designed
architect?
it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, or not? Yeah, he fell out with them and he's never visited it.
he's worried, he doesn't trust it. He knows something.
Yeah.
He knows something.
He won the competition to design it, and they wanted to change something. Or he ended up with a big fight with him, and he even though it was designed as all a great success, he's never seen it.
That's mad.
He's, I think he's Dutch or something. You're nuts, and
Is he alive?
I'm not sure. He was alive the last time I checked, but I don't
How old is
Architectural
that
trivia
place?
from Hugh Ryan. Architectural trivia
Yeah.
from
How
Hugh
old
Ryan.
is it? I don't know. When
The
was it? Was it
70s.
70s? Yeah.
I have no idea.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're nuts, and that's his name.
And so, like, what are your plans now you're here? Because it's a pretty massive move.
Yeah, it is. So I am planning on starting up my meditation business.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Have you done it in Australia?
I've done it, yeah. So I had a couple clients doing it with me, and some of my friends, I was guiding them through like some meditations to help them with like anxieties and stresses and just things like that. So I'm planning on just getting some business cards sorted, posters sorted, putting them up, getting some people in the door.
I always find it interesting when people do classes like that. The first time you do it, did you find it like awkward or anything? Like, when do you... Because obviously you're just learning stuff yourself. When's the moment you realize that there's a sort of sense of confidence in that, like, oh, I can do it, I can show it to someone else?
Right. Yeah. So I went through the whole course, which took me about a year and a few months. And
What kind of meditation was it?
Everything.
Okay.
Honestly, a bit of everything. So we did the theory in the course, and then we did like relaxations, mindfulness.
Guided. No.
Yeah, like all of these are guided.
Yeah, okay.
Insight meditations, nature meditations, drawing meditations, inner child meditations, literally anything.
Did you do like any of the transcendental stuff?
No, that's a kind of a different sort of...
Different branch
because it's not really a guided meditation.
Yeah. It's a stillness kind of meditation.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
It's just more, would you say less spiritual, more mental? Like,
a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So during that time doing the course, I was doing it with a buddy. Because we did them in different sessions. So in session 6, I was paired up with someone and we were guiding each other through meditations, kind of building up our confidence.
Oh, that's a cool way of doing it.
In doing it. And it's always a bit like, it's always different with everyone because you want to give them the best possible
Yeah.
like
Gets up.
meditation
Yeah.
and like talk through them like before and after, make sure that they're okay, because like it's pretty overwhelming doing a meditation like sitting down and like
Yeah.
all like moving around, because people obviously like often have like a misconception that
Yeah.
meditation's always just sitting down and just
Yeah.
being still and having to like shut your thoughts off, because that's impossible. Like
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? What is the point of meditation?
basically different for everyone if you have
Yeah.
different goals on what
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
to meditate. So for me personally, my goal to meditate is to like relax,
Okay.
take it easy,
Yeah.
to remind myself to like breathe and take it slow.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people want to just completely shut off their thoughts,
Yeah.
and like in that time, in like the 20 minutes or 40 minutes, even 5 minutes,
Yeah. Yeah.
like it doesn't have to be hours long.
I think that's where a lot of people get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
they
think it's an hour. Like you can do them 5. I've done ones that have, like could only be 3 minutes, and they could just reset you for the day.
exactly, yeah. Like if you don't have time to sit down and do it for an hour.
Yeah.
There's biochemical changes in about 6 minutes, like measurable
Yeah.
biochemical changes and stuff. So it's like even if you're just getting that twice a day,
Exactly.
you're hitting a different speed. Somewhere.
Yeah, and depending on what you need in that time. So if you just need to sit down and like just focus on your breathing for 6 minutes,
Yeah.
and you'll notice your mind going crazy. Like you'll notice
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and that's really normal. Like,
and would
yeah.
you say, because I think there only in recent times there's been there was always like people are becoming more understanding of meditation. There was all these Western rules around you're supposed to think nothing, get rid of your thoughts. But
yeah.
some of the best ones I realized was like, well, for me, a lot of the times when I do meditation, the purpose is I might be having. There's probably like a lot of thoughts at the back of my mind. So when I sit down, I let them out, and when you like, it's sort of like someone who wants to say something but they feel like they can't, and then
Yeah.
that meditation is allowing yourself to say it all, and then
Yeah.
that all that stuff that's in your mind, because it's definitely there,
Yeah.
well, it's kind of gone then for the day,
Yeah.
leaving space for you to be more productive, creative, or just feel better and all that.
Yeah, it's to just accept the thoughts, because as soon
Yeah.
as you put some sort of restraint on them, there's going to be conflict in your head.
Definitely.
But then
yeah.
as soon
So
as
you're
you
trying,
accept them,
trying
and
to not think, like thinking about trying to not think.
yeah,
So like it's like, yeah, Alan Watts was like, doing that is like moving a water with a stick to get it to stop.
yeah,
It's like
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's like that. Don't think about the blue
Yeah.
elephant.
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Think about.
Don't think
the
about an
blue
elephant.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
will start thinking about an elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then if you start thinking about like your breath, things start to slow down. If you start thinking about like one certain like phrase or like
Mantra.
yeah, like I like mantras as well. Like I make my own, and
Okay.
it's basically just like I am at rest, or I am at peace, or
Yeah.
just things like that, just to like kind of slow down. Yeah.
I did transcendental meditation, and they give you mantras. You're supposed to
Yeah.
do it to yourself and all this kind of thing, but
How many
Yeah,
people
yeah.
have you told now, Hugh?
loads. Yeah, but
It's
yeah,
good to share them, encourage
Yeah.
other people. Do they like create them for you?
create them for
you were
Right.
yeah, it was like, it's sort of a random, it's not even a significant word.
It doesn't. It's a sound more than anything. you
Oh,
know?
right, okay.
So it's just a word that doesn't really mean anything to you.
Do you know why I think like you can't tell anyone? It's because everyone's actually got the same
That's
sound.
what I was wondering. I was wondering that.
yeah.
But like, yeah, same. So
Don't
they-
reveal our secrets.
Yeah, they let you.
the cosmic joke.
Think of the mantra or whatever, and then different thoughts pop up in your head, and say that's grand. You just let it go, and then gently return to thinking of that mantra again or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just do that, like say they're guiding you through for about 15 minutes, and the very first time it was the most bizarre experience ever.
Yeah.
It was just like disappeared off up into a white space. You
Oh,
know what I
really?
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I've tried that loads of times since. I could never. Whereas I could hear everybody in the distance. You know, you could hear traffic in the distance, and it's lovely.
Yeah.
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 Like being dead or something, or it sounds like
Yeah. It's like an
out-of-body
ego
experience.
death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's lovely.
It is pure it's pure stillness, and I always notice that like there's always like, do you know when you're trying to do it and there's sometimes where you're finding it hard to get into it, and I always find it interesting when I find it hard to get into it, and I'm like, oh, I'm more bothered by like little noises or something like that, and I'm like, oh, that stopped me.
That's when it ends up being the best one at the end.
Yeah, because then all of a sudden, then like you remember that being the worst, and then like you don't notice this sort of like, it's not like turning down this like fader where the volume just slowly goes down or anything like that. It's like, you know, where you slowly get into it. It's just all of a sudden it was really and then all of a sudden you're there, but you don't know you're there till you come out of it. Because if you're telling yourself you're there, then you're revealing, I don't know. Did you know what I mean? When you're in it, it's like whenever I have the realization, like, oh, I'm in it, then it's like, oh, fuck, it's gone.
So now I'm out of it.
Yeah. You say you're in it.
It's kind of like you're in a dreamlike state.
Yeah.
And then when you're like, oh,
I'm dreaming, and you wake up or something.
Yeah. And then the thoughts come back and you're like, damn.
That's exactly,
The only thing I didn't like about the transcendental meditation thing was it's kind of a cult like.
The guy with a stick.
Yeah.
It was a cult.
That's why I haven't really gotten myself into that.
And they were saying,
I always seen that with celebrities and transcendental.
You can't show anyone else what we were about to show you and all that kind of thing. And it's like $2,000 there, lads, as well. I didn't pay. I had a client paid for us, but it's like $2,000 each.
What was the mantra they were telling you? $2,000 isn't much.
$2,000
isn't much.
$2,000 is cheap.
$2,000 is
$2,000 per person to listen to this, and then there was a bit of a ceremony, and it's kind of a bit weird.
Is that why they give you the white pointy hood?
Yeah. Hey, there was a touch of that. We'd make offerings and stuff with white handkerchiefs and fruits and all this kind of stuff.
Fruits?
Yeah.
After paying for 2,000.
Were you sitting around in a circle?
You have to give them a bag of oranges.
2,000 bag of oranges.
And a bag of oranges.
We were
go meet God.
But it went on over a whole weekend.
And he only over there.
It was enjoyable and all that, but I was just thinking all of that stuff could have been shown to somebody without charging $2,000.
YouTube.
And
YouTube
like
is a big
literally.
one. Yeah, there's a lot of like meditations you can find on YouTube, which is great.
So we started off by asking you, like, how did you know that you were kind of competent and confident in it? And
yeah,
we went
like
off on this whole
doing the meditations with my buddy, and also just doing them with friends and clients, and like it's kind of something that you just have to do to be confident. Just the more you do it, the more you're gonna kind of
the more you find your own sort of way with it, and
and then
put
like,
your own personality into it a little bit.
Like that's kind of what makes it like special in a way, is like you can add your own touch to it, and you can like personalize it more to the person.
The way you're saying like that, what I always find interesting is that stuff like the cult thing is like, you know the way like you paid 2,000 and it's like it's a bit wrong that they show up, but I always find that stuff so interesting because a lot of time that stuff is real and works, and like stuff people figure out that stuff and they find something good and something that's wholesome and of love. Like you see that a lot with a lot of cults. Like nearly all of them were started as something genuine, but they don't realize it gets lost into a thing, which is I find interesting when someone like has something so pure, which is the ability to teach someone how to meditate, and then they for some way get lost down this false sense that what they're valuing at is fair, and because they're giving people God. So I don't mind taking 2,000 for someone for God, because God's priceless.
I asked him that while because I didn't care. Like
did you?
No, I asked. So why does it have to be 2,000? Would it not be better like just to give it to people for free?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's something everyone should know.
Yeah, it's like, to me, it's like a universal thing. Like it's like that
you're
is
holding
free
it back
information
from people that might actually need it, and they
from
don't have the money.
Need it the most.
Yeah,
you know.
But I do think it's okay though for like if someone like just say you get someone that's really good at it, I don't think it's necessarily wrong for them to charge for it, because if they could the best thing for the world, if that was just say a good thing for everyone, then how would you get it out there? Well, get someone who can make a living on doing that rather than someone who has to work in Supermax and then try and do that for free.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. It's okay to charge.
Yeah, but like $2,000 is like...
There is a limit. There is a line.
Definitely,
that you can cross.
What did he say when you said...
He said he just wanted to make sure you'd value it, like, and it would, you know...
Well, the bigger the price is, the more value it has to it. I feel like a lot of people have that mentality.
Yeah.
But That's so
there is a hint of
arbitrary,
truth in
like,
it, but
there's
it's
no-
manipulation is the only
Yeah,
thing, like.
and I was like, fair enough then, because I wasn't paying anyway. So
Yeah. That's why you
No
were
hassle
there.
for you.
I told him I was too mean to pay for that.
That's funny.
I said I wouldn't be here unless someone else was paying.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Do you when you do meditation, is it all like that white or black stillness space, or is it like visualize? Do you see sort of images and colors, or?
I see a lot of images because I'm a vivid thinker.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll do like nature visualizations where I basically take myself to my favorite place, like my favorite nature spot. So
and would it be a spot in this world, like the real world? That
that
you'd
it could be whichever.
have memory of, and
Your happy place.
My happy place. Yeah.
Thurles. Liberty Square.
Firstly.
I'm gonna meditate. I'm outside Johnson's, like when.
Yeah, man.
That's where I go.
You're saying all the right things now.
But yeah, sorry. Go.
Yeah, so like my favorite spot is like just by a cliff and just like sitting there, just
Okay.
listening to the birds, like visualizing what it would like be like to hear them, and like visualizing what it'd be like to sit there, and like all the different like colors and things. Obviously green because bush
and blue.
and blue. Yeah.
Do you ever get so vivid where you get a bit frightened that you might fall off the cliff? Because you know, if you're actually like, I've done
You
like
get, like,
meditation
vertigo.
sightings, and you might be okay, and then all of a sudden you get a thought, God, I could fall. Do you ever like get so vivid where you think, Jesus, like this is
I actually haven't had that.
that'd be mad.
Are you talking about
Yeah.
flashbacks?
Maybe no, but I've had it in dreams and stuff. Like
Okay.
so, it's like you like that's where have you noticed any of that? Like how like there's like sometimes you can get more vivid, and sometimes you can, like it gets really dreamlike and really real. Sometimes I always find that interesting. So you're sort of like meditation is sort of like the act of when you're doing it in a visualization sense of like getting to like people who lucid dream, like there's the potential the more vivid your meditation gets with the
Visualization.
We've got donate money to another podcast. We're finished there. Visualization. The more it is, like the closer you're getting to it actually just being in a vivid dream while you're like even sitting there. Do you know what I mean? Like that's I don't know. There's like a spectrum between being awake here and then in the dream. I don't know. I definitely have mad, weird, vivid dreams all the time.
Yeah, I do
And
too.
it can be very,
It can be the same feeling,
yeah,
like being in the vivid dream and also like meditating.
yeah,
But for me, that's quite rare.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It takes it take a lot longer to get to that. Definitely. I
Yeah.
definitely don't be doing at that crack all the time. It's
Yeah.
a bit intense as well. Like, have you ever had, like when you were doing it with other people, have you ever had it be like an emotion,
Definitely.
like where they kind of start crying or they've releasing emotions and stuff?
Yeah, I was doing a group meditation, and like at the end of it, someone found it really, really overwhelming, but like in a good way. Like they had kind of, because they have chronic pains, so they were basically like going through the meditation, and like it was a relaxation. I'm pretty sure, it was a light meditation. So we were like visualizing like a light going from like head to toe, and then sitting with that light kind of nourishing the body. And like at the end of it, she started crying, and she was like, thank you so much. Like it was just comforting for her to be able to sit with that.
That's
and
mad, yeah.
kind of feel at peace in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
What
interesting.
What kind of conditions, like the meditation stuff that you do, what kind of physical and mental health conditions like would it be useful for? I know like theoretically it's useful for everything.
Yeah. So yeah, it's useful for anything and everything, like depending on what the person has. So like anxiety, depression, it can just stress in general. If you find it hard to like go day to day, like without being stressed, like doing one of the guided meditations can really help with that.
Because stress is like the primary thing where meditation is kind of specific, like because you can sort of chip away at your stress level, and it gives you when you start to bring that down, it gives you like a tool to use kind of in the moment that when you get stressed, when you're familiar with it.
Yeah, because the meditation isn't necessarily just for that moment. It's for the whole day.
Yeah.
It's like a tool for your life.
Yeah.
So it's also really handy for like, chronic pain, muscle pain.
Yeah, I was going to say chronic pain is one of the things where it's been used kind of a fair bit medically.
Yeah.
You know, to control the nervous system response and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also like IBS.
What's that?
Irritable
IBS.
bowel syndrome.
Right.
Yeah, so
What
like
about colitis?
colitis.
Like,
that's like Crohn's.
Yeah.
Similar, is it?
It might help that, yeah. Yeah, you'd have to do that like on
It's
a regular.
autoimmune, basically,
Yeah.
But then but then like relaxation modulates the immune system. So when you change the stress response by doing things like relaxation work, it
because it's basically like the connection between your head and your body.
Yeah, because all pain, like, you know, pain comes from signals from the brain.
Yeah,
and I've done that with like I have like teeth problems, like pain in my teeth quite often, and if I sit down, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like probably depends on if it's really painful. It's the more painful it is, the harder it is to do it. But if I'm feeling the pain coming on, I'll literally go into that quiet place and just be like, I've been doing the last few days because it started getting really bad. I had no choice, but I'd just go away. And like I sometimes wouldn't even close my eyes. I would just like focus on the pain so much, where I would like, I don't know how to explain it. Like you sort of feel the sensation between the brain sending the signals to there, and you kind of just like I don't know, it's relaxing it. Like I can't even explain it.
That's the thing. I was reading it last week about where you literally merge with the pain. So you become one with like the pain and the rhythm of it. So
there's a rhythm with
you can either like block off the signal, so you can visualize the signal going up to the brain and back. Yeah. And you can visualize blocking that message, or you can like dive into it.
I think that's the
Could you visualize going into the dentist?
I absolutely couldn't. No.
Why?
Because they did this to me. And that'd be
That's
funny.
why you need to like
in 10 years, when the Irish dentist
sit with the dentist
book is updated in 20 years, I'll go back. I like the dentist.
Would you not visualize
if it was in another country, I would.
Would you not?
Wouldn't that be funny?
Visualize yourself sitting on the dentist chair.
I will. I'm just
like
visualize
down and
crapping.
I'm gonna visualize a dentist with a Polish accent or something, or some other accent other than, because then man, Irish dentist. That'd be funny.
You reckon they did it to you?
Man, name one like I'm not saying there's definitely good Irish. There's very good Irish, but like just name like how many people do you know that have just like they're just out? I feel like it's outdated. Maybe
I've had teeth taken out in Australia, South Korea, the UK.
The amount of people I know that
South
go abroad
Africa,
to get their teeth done is crazy.
And the only one, I had all my wisdom teeth taken out under local in the chair in different countries. The only tooth that ever got fucked up horribly and was a horrific experience was here.
It's mad.
I know two good dentists in Thurles, 3 that would be deal with that.
It's 10 grand. So do you know what I mean? It's mad expensive. Like but it's cheaper. Like the amount of people I know who go abroad to get their work done because it's cheaper to fly, book hotels, and that's crazy.
It was less than a fifth of the price for me to go.
I'll tell you about a dentist in Thurles just there during the week.
And there's definitely
very good dentist. My dad went in and got he had a root or something there for years.
Oh yeah.
He got the thing. He went into the dentist and they found this tooth or bit of a tooth and pulled it out. And he says he can walk much better since.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's
because
mad.
there's all sorts of infection and crap and bad energies sitting around the tooth.
Yeah, he was very stiff walking and stuff, and now he's walking great.
Yeah.
They pulled out the tooth. Well,
that's a good dentist. Yeah, I'd pay for that dentist.
So you would know if you went into that dentist, you might be able to run or something, or ski or jump.
Start playing the piano. Start doing Mozart, like, because he fucking.
So that's what Thurles dentists do for you. They give you something extra.
Yeah.
Superpowers, spidey powers. That's really good.
Anyway, dentists.
Yeah. So,
over there.
Now we're seeing kind of like the medical impact of meditation and relaxation techniques. Like
so
it's really
much
merging. Like, there is, and it's like because now we can measure kind of what's going on in the body in real time and stuff with scanners and like. Little internal measurements and stuff. Like, we can actually see what it's doing.
And I feel like a lot of people think it's very spiritual, and it can be.
Yeah.
But then when it's linked to like scientific evidence, people are more like, oh, really? Can it help me? And it's like,
it's madly practical. Like, you don't have to have any kind of spiritual edge to it at all.
No.
Like, you can just literally go and do what it says on the tin. And
it is like the both of those names have become, and I think it's changing. There's more of an integration now. Like like more so in the past, in the spiritual, say that word now, spiritual community, the word science or scientist was like a taboo, like they're all on this side, and science, like anything to do word spiritual was like don't talk about, that's nothing to do. But now you're seeing a lot of like, okay, let's like work together. Because when something's so polarizing, there's always something, solutions in the argument sort of thing historically. But I think it's really cool that you're starting to see like, the science behind yoga and the science. And it's not just like this, you need to like, I don't know, carry 10 grains of rice up a hill just to find God and all this weird like cult, like wearing robes and all that kind of thing, where it's like, no, anyone can
like
do
being
it.
a Buddhist.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people like link it to being a Buddhist. And
Yeah.
sitting on the mountains for like 10 hours.
Yeah.
Meditating.
And disappear, ignore, which I always think
Yeah.
is, which is like, I would
really like that though.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Yeah.
It'd be absolutely fucking brilliant. I would love that.
You'd miss us though, Heidi.
Would I?
I don't think you would.
We'd come and see you on the mountain.
See how I laugh politely.
I do think though, like that, like I always find it interesting. It's not like when it's like their culture and stuff like that, that's like cool or whatever. And some people dedicate to that and they're probably doing God's work up there in the mountains. I think like though when you get like everyone seeing that, I think the problem is we see that maybe more in the Western world as like the attainment of God, you've really been a successful human when you can manage to do that. When realistically, I think the highest achievement as a human is to find enlightenment here in the shit. Like seriously, like to because like that's like the thing. Like my favorite quote is happiness is only real when shared. Like what's the point of isolating ourselves? Like I think it's easy to do that. I think we see that as a hard thing to do, to go to them. I think that's the easiest possible thing someone could do is to isolate from society. I think it's a really hard and noble thing to anyone who learns things like that and just says, I'm going to stay in the community and try and share it with others. I think that's the way we should do it.
What do you think, like, because you said about doing like group meditations and things like that, because people are really put off by groups in
it
a lot
can
of
be
places.
a bit like that because I don't know, they feel vulnerable. I suppose.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't relax like around, like if I couldn't relax and do meditation.
If you're with
like,
a stranger especially.
Yeah, like there's
next
no way.
to a stranger.
Yeah.
I think it can also be like a binding thing. Like it could be quite awkward for the first like class or the first two classes. But like you have time before and after to chat if you want to. And it's like you're not necessarily super close together as well. Like you've got space for yourself and like
I'd honestly be kind of good in both situations now. But if I were not in all, if I was feeling a bit down or like vulnerable or whatever, I'd probably find it more awkward with a one-on-one than I'd find it hard. To me, the bigger the group, the better. Would mean that if I was feeling vulnerable or a bit sad, that I'd have like less focus. You know, I'd find it's not as concentrated. I don't know. I think everyone's just different and stuff like.
I feel like it might be like if you're having like a lot of people, like if you're having like emotional struggles, like you might not want to be in a group because you might have a breakdown. You might you might need to get up and walk and that's always welcome to just get up and walk out of the room if you really need to. Yeah, like it's just a matter of like communicating that that's okay. Like you're not going to be judged because everyone's in their own little world. They're not thinking about you. Like when you're walking on the street, like you might be anxious about like people like thinking about you, but that's not the case. Like the fact that you're thinking about that, they're probably like even thinking the same thing.
I
so
did
it's the same.
I did it in a room like that, and
wait, group was it?
For 2 days. And like my stomach was rumbling. Right?
That's a good.
That
point.
happens.
I was like,
oh no,
shit, oh no.
They're going to know I have a body.
That was when I had the best meditation ever because you eventually get over your stomach rumbling. You don't really give a shit. It's okay.
You're like, okay, it's happening.
I'm stressed for the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes, but as it went on into an hour or something, suddenly I kind of left the room. It was brilliant, not like in my head, not. I went to my physically. And I could hear.
My body just rose and just got out of the door.
Exactly.
The door handle
left the body, and I could hear everyone below me. You could hear a guy snoring or whatever. You can really care less.
A lot of people fall asleep
snoring. Oh, that's interesting.
I can't stand heavy breathing and all those like I even
like
have
little
to sleep
noises
with
like.
earplugs in. I can't.
But you can't when it's right beside you. But when you get to that kind of place, it's like it's a mile away from you.
It's mad. Yeah, it's true.
No, it would still be right next to me.
It would
go away if you get deep.
It would be right next to you. But after a while, if you accept it and let it go,
it's true.
It gets you. Nothing matters anymore.
It's just the feeling of just frustration of just hearing the noises. It's just the frustration that you hear.
And then, do you know what happens then when things start bugging me? I start to squat. I start to get itchy.
Yeah, you start fidgeting.
Oh my god! And then I'm done. Then I have to get up and just leave the room. I can't be dealing with that. I think that was the biggest problem I had when I first started meditating was like the noises And then I would find when the noises reached a certain level and I'd force myself to try and sit there and just get over it and drop it and let it go, I'd start itching.
But that's the thing, you're thinking about not thinking or listening to the noises, which is making you think about the noises.
Now you're hearing them.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Once you get in that loop, it was like, look, just break it.
But we had this guy talking, and he was saying, okay, you're thinking about whatever you're thinking about right now, and then we'll just gently return to the mantra, and you just go and just let. That's like, to me, it was like whatever was bothering you has just floated away now.
Yeah.
And then there's another problem or something that'll enter your head. You don't notice that you're not thinking of the mantra. You're thinking about that lad snoring beside you. And then you're going, and then he's going, and whatever you're thinking about, that's fine to let that go, and you're going to return to the mantra.
Yeah, the thing is, you kind of put it in perspective.
Yeah, it's grand.
Yeah.
It's fine. And you start to accept things and relax, and you can't control any of this stuff anyway. So and in fact, that's really good that stuff is coming into your brain, because that's whatever you have to deal with right now.
That's the stuff you release and let go.
Yeah. You've let it go now, and then you return to the mantra. And if it comes back again, brilliant, because you're really getting rid of it now.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
You're loving it, Haley. I know. We're going to sit together, you and me, later on.
He was going to have a good snore.
And you're going to make me listen to your
think.
fucking stomach rumbling, and I'm going to start scratching. And
A great thing to do is listening to music while you meditate.
oh no,
Or
I
listen
can't
to
do that
my
either.
stomach.
No.
Really.
But
Dulcet
Hugh's stomach
tones,
lets off a
stomach.
frequency that heals you. He's a frequent. Yeah, that's what happens.
100 hertz.
So it's like any noises kind of like tick you off.
Huh?
Like any noises that you hear.
I can't even fall asleep with, like, I have to wear earplugs and stuff. I've
do that
always
when you
been
meditate.
like
Just
that.
wear earplugs.
Yeah,
or,
I usually
noise
do,
cancelling
because I just can't. It just fucks with my head too much, and I can get into meditation really quickly and easily when I block off sound.
Yeah, and then you just focus on something else.
Yeah, like that's easy for me because you just get into the silence of it.
There's the music. There's one guy I found on YouTube, and it's just, I found it hard. Like some of the music, like there's lots of really good music, and all of it's definitely relaxing. There was some I just couldn't find about it, but there's a guy I found that just puts in pure love. He's like a really good sound engineer, and the sound is crystal clear, and he puts effort into the whole hour. So although it's similar, but there's like, because you know about the loops, I find in it, like, I noticed the 5-minute loop, and then I'll be like, I'm not going anywhere because now I'm moving with the loop and the thing, because it's all loops.
Right, yeah.
But so I definitely, the music thing is massive.
I can record my stomach
me.
for you if you want.
What?
I can record my stomach rumbling.
Dude.
Oh yeah, consistent. Just have to fast for a few
Violette
days.
can use it in her groups.
Yeah,
Like-
you got good mics there.
Yeah.
No problem.
Just put a microphone by your stomach.
Yeah, or you could get a colonoscopy.
So
I
like,
like
is
that.
I
that,
don't know how to
is that an
pronounce
area
things, I
that
don't know.
you want to kind of specialize in with the kind of any kind of conditions or types of things that you sort of work with meditation?
I kind of want to bring in more like active meditations, because I feel like a lot of people do have a hard time sitting down.
Yeah.
What's active? What's active?
So active meditations could be like drawing or walking, dancing even.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
And is it
like-
all done in the stillness? What makes it the meditation? So what's for the drawing, one example?
Yeah, so it's like mindfulness. So like
Okay.
mindfulness is basically just not thinking about your thoughts, but like noticing your thoughts and then letting them go.
Yeah.
So like the drawing, you use your left hand, pick up like any colored pencils or pens or whatever, have like a sheet of paper with you, and you kind of just like go with it.
Oh,
And then
that's cool.
You listen to a little bit of music, and like if you're guided through it, it's basically just like saying like, oh, just letting go of thoughts.
Yeah.
And just,
I did that. I did Tracy. I was reading about all this stuff a few years ago, and I in the summer I don't have childcare for 3 weeks, so like I was at home not working with my kid, and I got her all these coloring books, like all the mandalas and things like that.
all right, yeah.
And I was reading all about like how meditation changes the brain and like sort of medical cases and stuff like that. And I started to trace. So I put like tracing paper over some of these things and was doing it with my left hand.
Yeah,
Because it switches off part of your brain. It doesn't have the
It
same
brings in
associations.
your like inner child as well, because like when you're
It was
drawing with your like
mad.
left
Yeah.
On one
hand,
hand, you're conscious. And,
Yeah.
It was
you kind of just
mental.
let it go.
There'd be
Just let
times when I
everything
get
go.
to the end of it and I'd be like, how is that finished already? There's all these things that I'd done and gone over. And I must have been sitting there for like over an hour.
Yeah,
I hadn't even noticed.
yeah.
We did that like in first year in university. So yeah, we're doing it like with the left hand first. with this art teacher. I think her Belinda was her name, but it was that kind of thing. When we were walking around the
Thanks
we
for
were
that.
we were walking around the thing first, playing music and drawing as we walked, right? And then she had us blindfolded. It was just kind of completely
What kind of college did you go to?
Yeah, we were all
Very
skitting,
strange.
laughing because we thought this is hilarious. But like,
It's good fun.
yeah, it is
As well, yeah.
But like,
I just have this vision of all
you
these
would-
blindfolded
Belinda,
people
yeah,
banging
she was just
into
daft. It was just pure daft, like. But looking back, and it was good because it made you actually conscious of everything. You know,
Yeah.
what you were actually doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these ages going around just like with the eyes closed.
Yeah, but that was like Socrates always taught, like walking.
Yeah.
So Socrates back in the old lyceums in Greece and stuff, they always learned while they were walking around because it kept you more kind of like conscious. It wasn't like you were
that's
going into
mad.
like sleep mode, just parked
Yeah.
on your arse and attack.
You were saying that to me the other day because I was like saying how if I'm like in a room on my own, like I get a bad habit like where I get like, even if I'm working on something I love and like it takes thoughts, I was like sometimes after a while it's like, okay, there's so much quietness. I know I'll want to play something or something like that, but the only times I will never get that urge is when I walk around. Like, so I like, if there's something like, I'll put pages, just for example, do it in here a bit, like I'll put like the books out here and shit, and then I'll just like walk up and down here thinking about the thing, and fucking it's so nice. I won't have to listen to anything. I just like, I can focus so deeply on this one little thing that I'm trying to figure out or trying to create or whatever it is. But yeah, I find it interesting.
You should do it with your left hand now. The next day, I'm blindfolded.
Really? Yeah.
See, do you bang into?
Yeah,
things.
see how many
There need to
things
be
you
a
can bang
Belinda
into.
present.
So I think you need to get Belinda.
Yeah, she knows.
Yeah.
She could sing while you walk around the room.
Do whatever.
And is that like do you have to kind of develop your training more than where you are to do that, or can you just
No, I can do
you
that
can just
now.
work
Yeah,
with it? Yeah, because
like
it
I've
was
done the
part
year
of what
course.
you did.
Yeah. So that basically had, like, every session had a different thing. So like one session would just be purely active meditations.
Yeah.
So like it was really in depth, and like I can do the active meditations, which is what I want to work on.
Yeah.
The mindfulness, I've got a separate certificate for that as well, like bringing mindfulness home. So like doing it as a formal practice by like sitting down and just listening to your thoughts and letting them go, and just like basically making it clear as to what you need to like work on or what you need to do, but then also letting it go.
Yeah.
Like you don't really need to be thinking about that in that time.
Yeah.
And also doing it as an informal practice, like cleaning. Like you notice yourself cleaning and subconsciously you're thinking, like your mind's going like a million miles an hour.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, there's lots of little things like that. The more menial thing, the more I find myself overthinking. I'm like so not in the place, like so on my thoughts and doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. So it's great to like do those informal practices while
That's cool. Actually.
like
I wish I was
cleaning
more aware of
or
that.
like gardening. Because
Yeah.
you notice yourself when you're like doing something like cleaning, like working with water or
Yeah.
working with soil, like you can really bring your sense of touch into that and
That's
your
so
sense
true,
of smell. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit water inside. They really just make you feel alive or something. I don't know what it is. You know what? The one thing I was thinking is like you're doing workshops here is your voice, your accent is really soothing, and a part of that's like your natural accent, like you as a person, but also like the Australian accent is like, I don't know. I just think there's a more, not just Australian accent, but I think if you're doing it in Australia, right, and you're doing a workshop with them, you're going to sound like them. But here I feel like you're sort of, you have like not the advantage, but
It's just different.
like the assistance of like, something different that allows people to go to, I don't know what it is. I'd find it hard, to be honest, if I had someone with a Kerry
Some
accent,
bogger
like
accent.
going like, and come here to me now. Just go in there now and find yourself. See what's going on there. And see if there's anyone around there. And if you see John, tell him I was looking for him. But yeah, I think you have a perfect accent for it. Not even accent, and just your voice in general.
You know, like in Australia, like there's a much bigger kind of sense of sort of camaraderie and like a shared care approach between like doctors or traditionally trained medical practitioners and other healthcare practitioners.
Yeah, like
Is there?
psychologists and things like that. Like
Yeah.
they're all connected somehow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like
That's the
they're
future,
known kind of
Not like
for,
that here, no.
It's
No.
nothing like that here.
Yeah.
To be honest, there's not
No.
many countries that it is.
Why is that? Where does that come from? Like, why is it so separated?
I don't know. I mean,
Close-mindedness.
like the thing is that it was always like stuff that could sort of be measured and proven.
Yeah.
So like if you can measure something with a blood test or you can image it or something, then therefore it's scientific.
Okay.
Right.
And so we can justify it and we know why we're doing what we're doing and we can explain it and validate it to people.
Yeah.
And then there's all this other stuff that kind of works. We know it works because it's been there for centuries.
Yeah.
And we see that people can work with this stuff and get genuine change, but we can't measure it and people can't explain how it's happening and why it's happening.
Yeah.
And, you know, we can't do it. We can't give X and get Y.
Okay.
you know.
And
Yeah.
I'll tell you why it's not working here, because a year ago there was a priest in Waterford. There was an article about a priest in Waterford only a year ago saying that their school, the local kids' school, are practicing devil worship by doing yoga. There was an article, an official Irish Independent article only a year ago.
I mean, that's
So
like...
that's a big part of it, is the the weird, like, what yoga is like for devil worship. It was like, that's words he was saying, like
India, a nation full of devil worshippers.
yeah,
Like,
which is
Oh
interesting.
my god.
So there's that to it.
He created a bit of debate though, so it's kind of good. And
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
he got the word out there.
Yeah. Some kids stopped practicing the evil thing as well, which was good.
So,
But now
like
they've
that-
got their minds like linked to that. Like yoga is
Yeah.
like devil worshipping.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
always
Like,
going to
yeah.
stick with them
And
like
you have
that.
to
Yeah.
devil worship if you want to do yoga.
No, it's optional.
Yeah.
Optional.
Optional,
So like
yeah.
I think that like that's one of the things that kind of I really struggle with, because I've got training on sort of either side of the spectrum, and I work with both, and it makes perfect natural sense to me to do that. Like,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
really intuitive way of working.
Because it's like mind and body.
And if you're not working with both, you're fucked. You're just addressing
Yeah.
one side of the equation. You're never going to get
It's not
good
a balanced
results.
life.
No.
Yeah.
So that, even down to like the specialization of medicine, where like people work with the kidneys or they work with the liver or they work with the lungs, you know, it makes it really, really difficult to kind of get a whole person approach.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And I've heard that like with doctors here especially, like they don't really care about you as a person. Like I'm sure
Yeah.
some of them do, but like they don't ask you like,
Well, I
how are
think
you
it's-
feeling? Like what have you been doing?
I think a lot of that though is that, you know, there's not enough doctors here. And
Yeah, they
you
don't.
know,
It's the
how you
training
have
as
to-
well.
You have to see people in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
it, or
The
less.
syst- it's-
So
it's
you
definitely-
can't.
the
You've gotta
system
get
is
You
to
don't
that-
have
them
time
and-
for that.
Yeah.
You've only got time for what you're
And then you've
like,
got to do
there
all of
for.
your admin inside of that time as well. So you are literally just pushing numbers the whole day
Yeah.
with no
It's
breaks.
definitely the
and-
facilities that they don't have.
Yeah, it's
They
a
don't have
consequence of
money
the
for
system.
it.
It's not
Yeah.
a consequence of the individuals who work in the
And the
system.
training as well. That's a huge
But
part
it's the
of
same
it.
thing I was saying about the dentist. I don't actually think even the dentist really did fuck up my teeth from years ago. I genuinely don't, that doesn't bother me that person did, like that person didn't do anything. That person just did their job.
Yeah.
Problem is the system and the old outdated, whether it's,
What did you do to
the
your
system
teeth?
is, what?
What did he do to your teeth?
Just put in a 10-year filling that was out in a few months, and
Wow.
loads of them, and now they're all for, and then some of them are like whatever. It doesn't matter. It wasn't that person's fault, and it wasn't that he. It was the girls make mistakes too.
No, we don't.
yeah. You're trying to. That's funny.
I've never made one mistake in my life.
Yeah. But it is the same thing. I think is like there's lots of outdated ways of, like you even say, like there's not. It doesn't seem like there's much, and I don't know if it's just Ireland, but Western medicine seems to lack a lot of heart, like a lot of, because aren't you kind of taught to, like when you were saying that when you're dealing with when you're doing training to deal with like giving bad news, you have to remove your emotion.
I was taught in. I mean, I went to a really progressive medical school, I suppose, compared to, like, I went to a really small medical school in London.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the medical schools that piloted things like problem-based learning and sort of more patient-centered care and stuff. And they were doing that for, years before I went there.
Yeah.
And so I think that, we probably got different aspects of training than other people would have done. We had like communication skills and, breaking bad news that you're examined on all the time. And, what those approaches mean to people and stuff like that. Like, they, people won't remember what their full blood count was, what their white cell count was, but they will remember the time that they were told in the room that they were told and the person who told them.
And
they're not going to give a shit about the numbers.
No, it's
and,
true.
And how that news is delivered can determine the outcome of the whole fucking disease process.
Yeah.
You know,
if they
whether
recover
somebody
from it or
feels
if they stay in that.
whether people feel like they're kind of
confidence. And
they
there's
can
hope.
overcome it and manage it
Yeah.
and stuff like that, you know. So like your kind of self-efficacy in approaching disease
Yeah.
is massive.
So like, how do you deliver bad news, or what are you taught about that?
So you have you get like pretend patients and stuff like that. And I mean, this was horrific. Like as a medical student, you're in a room and there's cameras on you and you have to go and deliver bad news to somebody. You've had a bit of training in it, and then you come out and it's watched and there's a whole group of people
Watching it
in another room like who watch you do it, and it's all,
tell them they're going to die or something, is it?
yeah, so you get told you've got to explain this diagnosis and deliver this news to a person.
Whoa.
And one of the lads in my year was like, goes in and says, do you know leukemia? This pretend patient's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, you've got that.
Yeah, that's the way to do
Yeah.
it. Like, that's definitely the way
And
to
it
do
was
it.
like, yeah, that's how you don't do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
and what was a good example of how good way of delivering?
I mean, like, to me,
It's natural,
you're talking
like-
to another human, aren't you?
Yeah,
like,
that's
that
the
was the
thing.
bottom line to me, is like, I didn't have to think about any scripts or anything like that, because it's just like, there's a person across from you, and whatever you say to them, it doesn't matter whether it's leukemia, whether it's lymphoma,
Like,
or whether it's
shouldn't
pancreatic cancer.
Yeah.
Shouldn't it be the same thing you would say if you didn't have doctor in front of your name, but you had to give that? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
Yeah.
I feel
You're
like
just two
any.
humans connecting,
Yeah.
and you've just got
There's
to tell
no
this
sort of
person.
line
You
of skill with it, I don't
you
think.
just go with it and just. I'm afraid the news isn't good, or
No, you wouldn't say
What would
that,
you
because
say?
then somebody straight away
Okay, what
kind
would
of.
you say? What would you say?
So if I was talking to someone, I'd say, yeah, you know, so as you know, we've done all of the tests and we've got all of the results back, and you know, there's certain findings which could be better or worse on those things, and I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't
Yeah.
have a script that I follow.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
explain all the tests
Yeah.
have been done repeatedly, because people's first response is often, "Can you do more tests? What if those results are wrong? Why don't you look at this?" Right. So you establish that everything that could have been done has been done,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that you have consistently kind of got this result.
You have to drop the bomb at some stage, though. Yeah.
But I do it dependent on, because everybody's
You don't just
different.
But there's a way
You don't
you
just
would
state it
like
straight
if you
away.
met some, you wouldn't just be like, if you get,
You
you
don't just
have
say
to
you're
have the
dying.
ability to do it as well. Like if you're someone that gets real, if you're going to get sad about them having it, you're probably not going to be the best at it as well. Like it's
Yeah,
about,
true.
you're probably not going to be the best person for the job. But if you're someone who has
I know.
like hope, you need to instill hope. I feel like
I
that's
always
the
tell
bottom line.
people,
Yeah.
because people always ask things like about, you know, so what's the prognosis, or like what could it be, like what I always tell people, you're a statistic of one, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
you
You
are
are
a
you.
statistic of one. Like people have
a
these
fact.
strange pathways through
I know.
disease and overcome things, and there's nothing you can't ever say to somebody, so you know, there's a 5% chance of this, or there's a 95% chance of
Yeah.
that. You don't
I know.
fucking know. Everybody can manage it differently.
I've
'Cause
heard a lot of stories of different people who got delivered bad news and stuff. You know.
And just
And one person, somebody was told they were dying, you know, and the person was really upset about this person dying or whatever. And they told me one thing that they did get comfort off was this doctor that said, "Look, you know, we're all dying." And that
Being
kind of-
real.
It's not how you deliver it, it's the tone and the
Yeah.
manner in which you deliver it. Like it's always
And to the
very
diff-
straightforward,
The
just to
sense that
say,
you
you know,
truly
this
care
is what
as well.
results show, and that this is what the indication
The other
is.
thing is that what I saw about some of it is some people are better at it than others. So some people,
definitely.
it's all facts and figures to them, and bang, 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 and they don't realize that the effect that those facts and figures are having on them.
And
Yeah.
that is what they were trying to teach us in medical school.
Whereas that guy that said, "Look, we're all dying," he just empty, and he was.
There's a real magic,
he
not
was
magic, but like a
taken-
real.
He was taken. He wasn't in any hurry to go anywhere. Do you know
Yeah.
that person who was just.
That's
excited.
really
See,
cool.
that's the other thing, is like, it was one of the main complaints, is just like, you know, you could only have 5 minutes to deliver this. You can't do that. You have to make sure that you have open-ended time to kind of make a person feel comfortable and not
It's
be
a hard
checking your
thing to
watch or
teach.
looking at the clock.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really teach it.
I think you can. I don't think you can teach it, but I think you can. I don't know. I think you can, because it is.
You can make people
It's the
more
ability
aware
to
of.
be human. I think people like who might be emotionally unavailable in lots of ways can learn emotions and can get better at.
You can make people more aware of what is appropriate to say or not say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
the people that did the best at it had just a natural instinct for it.
But you have to take into account, like, people starting off, like, are going to say doctors are going to be nervous. They might say the wrong thing the first time.
Definitely.
And they might say it loads of times. But judging by the reaction of the first time, they don't need someone else to tell them that was wrong. They'll know.
Exactly.
And then they'll get better
in
the
those
next
situations.
time. Yeah.
You know.
We do have to finish off now in a few minutes. So, like, you're planning on doing meditation classes in Thurles, the capital of the galaxy.
The meditation capital of Tipperary.
Ed Sheeran's production manager told me that Thurles was the centre of the universe. That's actually a fact.
It's a fact.
Anyway, but yeah, go on.
Yeah.
But so sorry. Yeah, you're doing meditation. You're doing meditation courses in Thurles.
Yes.
You're planning on doing that.
Yeah.
What's the
crack?
Yeah, and where can people reach you and all that?
So I've got the Facebook and Instagram that you can reach me on. Vio's Nook.
Okay, yeah, we'll put the links in the description of this episode.
So I'll be doing like individual ones as well, like individual classes, which can be online, because I feel like a lot of people, like at the moment, are a bit more weary about doing like face-to-face things. But yeah, at this studio, potentially, if I can get my hands on that, do some classes based on like the active types, mindfulness types, relaxation types, sport types even, because I'd love to get like guys into meditation and mindfulness.
You were telling me that. This is really cool. Explain that, because this is cool.
Yeah, like the sport types that I'd love to get into, because I've noticed a lot of the guys here are really into sport. Like every guy is like 9 out of 10 guys are doing it.
Except probably all of us.
Nobody in this room.
So like getting your mind kind of clear for a game, because like your mind might be going like 10 million miles an hour right before a game, which kind of, it does impact your performance during the game.
Definitely.
Because you have to get in the zone like that.
Man, I used to play loads of sports. And I used to have that fire anyway, just like certain, you do have to have that in sports, where you just literally feel like that you're just better, and that you're like, even if you're not, you just feel like that.
Yeah, visualizing your success before the game.
If I knew that
really
even as a kid playing, like, you'd actually, that stillness, and there was always that stillness anyway, but to
I never really cared about winning the game that much.
But it's just as well, like there could be different ones. Not necessarily.
Is there
winning.
one for losing, like with you?
Visualizing your losses during the game.
I want me and everyone else around me to fall
and have a good chat with whoever I was matching. I get all the news, and we'd have a great chat, like, and the ball was always
flying around.
What I found with the ball, it used to interrupt good conversation.
I do know what you're actually talking about. Like,
we'd be in good fucking chats, and the ball would come down and fucking
like, shit, I've actually got to play.
I remember playing rounders. We used to have to play rounders in like primary school, and me and my friend would be doing handstands and headstands with the fucking. The teacher would be like, "You're supposed to be fielded," and we're like, "What? No,
we don't care about winning." Yeah. No, so it's like enjoying
really
your
cool
time
idea.
during it. Yeah. And like as well, like if you do end up losing, like just being okay with that. Yeah. Like kind of
I can just
accepting that and then
at home with
it. Just enjoying your time on there as well. Like meditations that can kind of help you like be either better at performing, better
it can
at
really
like
help you
teamwork
access
as well.
like a next level kind of way of being in it.
In America, like that's the one thing you don't see even on like big GA matches in Ireland. I know in America with the NFL and the and NBA, like the basketball and the American football, probably baseball. I know it's a common thing. Like there's always a few moments of quietness before, you know, a real few moments. I don't know if it's maybe I've never been.
I went to a good few American football games. There was a lot of quietness. It was very boring. I don't know, is it like that on TV? Do they edit it or what? But
probably.
Like literally, it was like a conference. You know, so they go up a little bit on the measuring tape, as I was calling it.
Mad,
then everybody off, and then we'll have a chat. What just happened? Everybody have a little.
It's very bizarre.
It's the most
there's some only like in an average
ad breaks.
In an average, it's not even. It's just the game itself. Like in the average, like what you're talking about is the average gameplay. Like actually, where the ball is moving is like 3 minutes for a whole mad. I can't remember. It's crazy.
Most of the time, it's talking.
It's all tactics. It's like tactical game and shit. Like
Maradona used to early in the morning when he had a big match, he'd get up early and he'd go out onto the pitch where he was playing, and he would stand there and imagine the crowd screaming and roaring at him, and he would like take a few laps around and score like a few
You
goals.
own the
and all that,
field.
like yeah,
Own
like
it,
on
own
the
it,
actual
own it,
like
own it.
pitch and stuff.
Saying that though,
Yeah.
I did like the American football thing as in because it was just the crack in the
The
crowd.
cult following.
Yeah,
you have
drinking
is,
beer, eating hot dogs, and
Chatting.
shouting abuse at the other.
Yeah.
That's just your community.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah, I think we'll finish up now. Thanks a million for coming on.
No,
And we'll
thanks for
leave the
having me.
links to the description. If you want to feel like close your eyes and imagine you're in Australia, because you'll hear an Australian accent, then just click the link in the description of this episode and you can contact Violette.
Violette.
Am I saying right?
Yeah.
Violette.
Thanks.
But yeah, all the contact details will be below, and get yourself sorted out with a bit of breathing, relaxing, and thanks to everyone for watching as well on YouTube, and thanks to everyone for listening on Spotify. If you've done either of them, we really appreciate your support. I hope you have a lovely day or night time. Do you have anything else to add for the folks at home before we?
Yeah. If you're passing by 33 Matthew Avenue and you have money in your pocket, and just put it through the letterbox, we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Or your bank card.
Oh yeah, we're hungry.
Pennies.
We're just hungry.
Coins.
Yeah, I keep spending the money on XLRs, and we've been getting hungry now.
Yeah.
We're buying so many wires.
I did try to eat a couple of the XLRs and it didn't
Yeah.
go well. So
Some of these ones
don't
are
let me
chewy
eat any
though.
more wires.
It looks like licorice.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have a bite.
Or
We'll
spaghetti.
talk to you now. We're going to have a bite. Right, thanks a million, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye now.
Leave that on. Oh, never mind. Doesn't matter. So we'll do it next time. What? Yeah.
I love the taste of strawberry medicine as it runs down my neck. I feel it draw me in, and when it settles on my mind, just know you'll find me there inside.